gentlemen, welcome to ATCHAT. Your hosts for today are Pastor Andy and Kanesh.
We are live.
Wow, Ganesh, we look like we never do this before.
yeah. Hey, new year, new me.
Happy Chinese New Year. Wow.
To restart the whole. Okay. Talk about restart. Welcome back to Access.
I'm also hearing.
Yes.
I'm also hearing myself double. I hear myself like 2 times. Are you hearing that also?
No, I'm okay.
I'm afraid I'm hearing things now. Yo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe because I just
No,
that's why.
Okay. Not my ear, not my ear. Hearing things.
Yes. Are you still hearing things?
Okay. No more.
Okay, sweet. All right. So yes, we are back for Access Chat, and immediately we are going to Chinese New Year, Pastor.
Yes. This is our first Exchange Chat of 2022.
Right.
And
Yes, correct.
our very first one is already Chinese New Year. That's how early Chinese New Year is, huh?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. We didn't even get to do a New Year episode,
Okay. Yes, we didn't too. But never mind lah. We were just, because the Chinese New Year got New Year inside also. We just tumpang lah.
Okay. Yes. How have you been?
Yes.
The past, since we met, Pastor, it's been 2 months, December all the way to today. Yes. So we passed by
been good.
Christmas, we passed by New Year, and then the
Yes.
whole situation of the flood lah, this lah, that lah. Today also raining, a lot of
Yes.
tree fall down, and then Access
Yes.
Chat Chinese New Year edition.
Yes. How I have been, I've been good. I was affected by the flood also, but we can talk about it another time. Christmas was alright. New Year was alright. Got a little break. Now suddenly it's Chinese New Year again. Do you
Yes.
notice how fast the shopping mall changed from Christmas song to Chinese New Year song?
Yes. Just the day after. Right. Just the day after.
Amazing lah. But that's the beauty of Malaysia.
Yes.
Malaysia, we got a lot of background, a lot of cultures. We celebrate all kind of festivals, So we also have to learn, all the different culture, different traditions,
Yes.
Some of the do and do nots, If let's say it's Hari Raya time, you want to visit your friend, they have certain tradition, or maybe our Hindu friends visit us during Chinese New Year. They also have to learn. That's the beauty of Malaysia, lah, bro.
Correct. That's why we are having this episode, so that when you go visit your parents, your big family, your friends, you are not awkward lah. Yes,
That's right.
That's right.
Yes, very good.
Yes, but
Very
for those
good.
of you watching, welcome back again to Xteen's Chat. But just to let you know that although this is our first episode of Xteen's Chat, this is definitely not our first event of Xteen's. We have actually started Xteen's Live, and we have started it for at least 2 weeks. So if you're around the vicinity, or any friends who can join us in Xteen's Live, remember to invite them. This week, we will also be doing a Chinese New Year theme, right? That's going to be very exciting in Xteen's. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. So today we want to talk about
Yes.
Chinese New Year, and if you can see the screen somewhere in the screen, it says CNY though. So we want to ask a lot of questions regarding Chinese New Year, more like why we do what we do during Chinese New Year, right? So Pastor Andy, what are some of the weird things that you do during Chinese New Year?
Weird things, I don't remember
Like any
doing
tradition
weird things,
that is just off to you or like super unique to your family or what?
Okay, it's not weird. It's definitely not weird or off. Okay lah. For me, growing up Chinese New Year, even from a kid, it's all about the firecrackers and fireworks lah.
Yeah.
And we were quite creative with how we play with the fireworks and firecrackers lah. which I won't mention here because some people might get worried. And we used to tie certain insects or certain
Oh,
creatures
too much lah.
to the. But I won't. Okay, I won't go into it. There was one time I was playing. You know those fireball thing, like a tube, and you shoot fireball one. Boom,
Yeah,
boom.
yeah, yeah.
Then I don't know why I aimed it at my next door for my grandmother's house. Next door there got a field, just a field, and I started aiming over there. Next thing I know, the entire field got burned out.
The
Then the
field.
bomba all came.
Wow.
Yes, the entire field, because like dry grass, the entire piece of land got burned down. And the bomba came and had to call bomba, had to call firemen to come and put out the fire.
And you
It
were
was
part
that
of
big,
it.
the fire. Yes, but nobody knew lah. I quietly went to the house and kept quiet.
Okay. Now they know.
But for me, it's like
later.
fireworks and all this lah. Yeah.
Yes. So, confession.
How about you, Ganesh?
Yes. I don't know, but I remember a thing lah, like something that happened during Chinese New Year. It wasn't a good thing. But I remember until today, because sometimes you remember the bad things more, right? So I didn't understand this whole culture of giving Angpao, because back home we don't really practice it. And then I was very young lah. I think I was like 4 or 5, but it's a vivid memory lah. So this uncle came. He's my grandfather's friend, so he's a very old guy, right? So uncle came and then he wanted to give me Angpao. Now I think at that point, right, I very merajuk already lah. Like for whatever reason, I was bad mood, right? So I collected that Angpao with my feet. Wow. So I was sitting down like that, right? And then I just like,
Wow.
such a brat. And then uncle give money, right? Then I take my feet and then I clip the Angpao. Oh, I got a beating of my life, man. Yeah.
So this kind of thing, shouldn't do lah, because there's some significance one. That's why today we have someone who I consider expert lah, bro. Expert, to come and tell us things like that lah.
Right.
And why?
And
Yes. Yes. So people who make the same mistake you make.
Yes. But I think at this age, a teenager, you probably experience enough to know what to do and not to do. But the whole background of it lah. So Pastor, who is this guy?
Wow, this guy, very good friend of ours lah. He by profession he cooks lah. He cooks and make food, and fill people's stomach. And there's one thing that we like to do during Chinese New Year. We eat non-stop. Okay,
Yeah.
But food also has a lot of culture and tradition one. Yesterday, right, my office, we had our staff. Every single dish is intentional one. There's meaning to each dish one. Got the abalone with the mushroom there, then got with the rice with the wax duck lah, then got everything got meaning one lah.
Right.
So food very closely tied to culture and tradition. So we invited a food guy to come because he knows more than food. He knows about the dressing, why you dress a certain way. This guy, maybe you know him by another name, Josh, but you know him as Joshua Chu. There to be a promotion there, Josh Catering. But this year, Chinese New Year, he closed for a few days. Day 5 or day 6, he opened again. But I'll let him tell you more about that. Let's welcome Joshua Chu, our panelist for today.
Yes. Wow, welcome Joshua. Thank you for being with us. Yes. Wow, Joshua, Pastor really.
Hey, by the way, guys.
What is it?
Hey, wait, Ganesh. We have to tell the people that if they want to ask any question,
Yes.
any question about today's topic, about any Chinese New Year tradition that they cannot understand, or maybe you are a Christian and you're like, hey, this Chinese New Year tradition can do one or not, and you want to ask about it, please, you can scan the QR code on your screen right now. It should be the top left corner, if I'm not mistaken, or you can just go to sli.do, slido, and type in hashtag ATCHAT, and it will take you to our question and answer page. Okay.
Correct. Please ask questions, because this is one of the rare moments where you get to ask any questions at all regarding Chinese New Year, what you can do, what you cannot do, and we'll attempt to answer them. Yes. So Joshua, thanks for being with us. And I think Pastor earlier gave a real intro about you. But what really caught me was how passionate you are in terms of culture. So my question is this, Joshua, is why is it that you're passionate about it, and what is it about culture or Chinese culture that really keeps you going or captivates you?
Hello. All right. Well, basically, I think growing up in a family, and my dad is the eldest of 7 siblings. So it was always quite fun, lah. And I think being with family and celebrating Chinese New Year, one of definitely the highlights is going home to your hometown and being with all your uncle and aunties, right? So those were like really, I think, fun and fond memories, right? So I think that's probably one of the things that really causes me to really have good thoughts about all this tradition. But of course, I have a grandfather who is also very. I would never use the word. I don't think he's superstitious, but rather he is. He likes it. He likes the idea that we all wear it, for Chinese New Year, or even to actually. Even on a normal day, he prefers us wearing red over any other color. So I think that sets, sort of like that really is a bit of a background. But at the same time, I also believe, as a Christian, a lot of times our relatives will say that we forgot our roots and they sort of say, oh yeah, you become Christian, you're not Chinese, no longer Chinese anymore. Some days I'm not sure if it's to prove it to a point or what, but I think we are more I am personally more China than some of them who are not Christians. Yeah. So I think that nullifies that tone, you forgot your roots kind of thing. Yeah.
Exciting. All right. Yes. So we've got more questions to ask Joshua, and also probably get to know him a little bit more. And you get to ask questions, and we'll get Joshua to at least attempt to answer them. So you can type it out in your YouTube section, comment section. You can type it out on Slido, also on Discord if you're watching. Feel free to reach out to us with all these channels. But for now, we're going to play a very quick activity, and this activity is called the Odd One Out. Yes, Joshua has not seen this activity. He don't know what he's going to play, but this game is also for all of you, all right? If you're tuning in, you want to be involved, you can answer the questions by typing out in the chat section. So I hope all of us can participate together. All right, the game is easy. I'm going to show 4 images on the screen, and all you need to guess, or rather, all you need to answer is which of these image is the odd one. Okay, the odd one, all right? Let's start. Okay, image number 1. Joshua can answer, Pastor also can play, all right? And everyone else. Okay, this is the first one. Yes! Yes. All fruits. See, first one also difficult. Yes.
Are we supposed to type it in, or is this supposed to shout it out?
The rest
you just shout it out.
But
other people can type, yeah.
You can shout out. Come on, we expect a lot out of you, Joshua.
Yeah, coconut lah.
Coconut.
Are you sure? Is that your final answer?
Yeah, that's true.
Jawapan muktamad. Okay. Why?
All right, Ganesh, reveal the answer.
Yes, the answer is. But I want to know why you choose coconut. Like.
Why is coconut the odd one out?
Why not pineapple? You see the picture of pineapple is not cut. Everything else is cut.
It's Chinese New Year related, right? That's why lah.
Yeah. Chinese related. So why coconut not related to Chinese New Year? Cooling what? Chinese New Year very hot.
Yeah. Chinese New Year is only hot here. Chinese New Year in China is winter.
Wow, not bad, huh? And also China got no coconut, is it?
Yeah, China. Only in the southern part coconut.
Okay.
Everything else has a symbol.
See, Ganesh told you this guy is expert.
Yeah.
Yes,
You get
everything
to
else
answer
is
on
simple.
behalf of China also. Yes.
So I think coconut is the correct answer lah.
The odd one lah. Coconut
Because-
is the odd one. Because
odd one out, so
what you
therefore
were
it's the
saying
correct
is that
answer.
the other three has significance in terms of Chinese New Year, right? Maybe you can share a little bit more, Joshua.
Okay. So Mandarin oranges besides calling it Cheng, which is orange in Mandarin, we also call it 橘子. 橘子, which also means if we will use it with the term 大吉大利. Basically, it's like good luck, good luck, and you wish people that kind of thing. So in rather than just saying it, you actually also give it as a form of gifts, right? Sometimes you will, you will bring somebody's house 8 BG or 5 BG or 2 BG, right? So that's why orange, and then of course pineapple is more of a Hokkien thing. It's online, means also to do with good luck, wishing people a better year ahead, and stuff like that. And then in Pamelo is basically all these fruits. It's not nothing to do with the health benefits, but how it's actually sound, and 柚子. So I cannot, I really don't know what it means, but 柚子, basically you also give it for weddings, like it's to do with being fruitful,
Oh, so it because how I would think is it's a picture of prosperity, right? All the three fruits, but you mentioned that there's also a different significance where they all sound alike. That's what you said.
No, it's not sound like. They all have got good connotation. The how it sounds.
Okay.
So like all like good stuff lah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. All right. Not sure how many got it correct. Let me see. Yes, someone said banana. Okay, good job. Let's move on to the next image. And the next one, odd one out. Let's go. Ta-dang! Yes. This is difficult. Yes.
Wow,
Alright.
Ganesh.
What do people think? What do you think, Joshua?
Yes, our audience, our 8,000 people.
Yes.
Wow. What is
Meow.
the significant? Which is the odd one out?
Pastor, recently you caught a cat, right? Is it like a Chinese
I
New Year
didn't
kind
catch
of,
lah, bro.
activity?
I didn't catch a cat. We rescued a cat.
You rescued a cat.
A baby kitten was stuck in a drain near our house and was crying out.
Right.
So my wife and my son decided to rescue it. Yeah. And then I tried to look for a new home for the cat, for the kitten. Yes.
Okay. You managed to, right? So you gave it away?
Yes, just this morning, someone reached out to me on Twitter. No, this person reached out to me on Twitter last night, and then this morning I arranged to pass it to this person lah.
Okay. Nice.
Ah,
Very
okay,
giving,
good.
Such
Yes.
a Chinese New Year thing to do. Okay, Joshua, what's your answer?
The cat,
The cat. Why the cat, Joshua?
because it's not part of the tail zodiac.
Because it's not part of the Chinese zodiac. So tiger, dog, and monkey, they are all part of the 12 animals in the Chinese zodiac, right? And this year apparently is not apparently, well, we know this year is the year of the tiger according to the Chinese calendar. But maybe Joshua can share with us a little bit, what is this whole zodiac about, and what is this whole Chinese calendar about? One calendar not enough, man. Why we must have Chinese calendar, and why is it like animals, and anything that you can help share light to?
So basically, the lunar calendar, which is known as the lunar calendar. Basically, it actually it follows the moon, the full moon cycles. Yeah, it is important because China, or where we actually come from, our ancestors were mainly agricultural people. Yeah, they planted stuff, right? They they have paddy fields, and then they tanam sayur and all that kind of things lah. So it was the lunar calendar. It is also used in Korea, in Japan, in Vietnam, in Myanmar, in Thailand. So I never knew that so many countries actually use that same lunar calendar until we had to fight with the Koreans to use the event hall in my university in Switzerland for Chinese New Year. So they don't call it Chinese New Year; they call it their lunar calendar year lah. Yeah, and so of course there are many people who actually have got different theories as to why the zodiac and stuff like that. But one of the most common one is actually very simple, which is it is because olden days not everybody had access to paper and pen, or like you don't have printed calendars and stuff like that, right? So these animals are also animals. I wouldn't use the word common to them, but they know of this existence of these animals, and the folk or our ancestors. So it's easy for them to remember, right? And like for example, right, if my sister is a tiger, it's a tiger lah, basically. Right. So straight away, I remember like, oh yeah, she's 36 this year because it's a cycle of 12, right? So that's how also they also do mathematical calculation of when's your age, right? So let's say if you're the year of a snake, how many years back, you tolak, or 3 years ago it was the year of the snake. So you minus, the guy's 33 this year, and stuff like that. So it was really helpful. It's actually helpful for a lot of for them who were illiterate or whatever, but they can memorize the first word of the Mandarin calendar, of the lunar calendar, the zodiacs. Yeah. Of course, a lot of people now have a lot of theories lah. Or if you're a year of tiger this year, good year for you, blah blah blah, and then you can meet who and who. Of course, there will always be all sorts of funny things lah. But mainly, this is the origin of it lah.
Right. It's like the Chinese equivalent to the zodiac thing, right? Of course, it's called zodiac also. The stars thing. Okay. Awesome.
Ganesh, do you know which year you're born in?
Yes.
Which Chinese zodiac?
Horse.
Yeah, what?
Horse.
So
Joshua, I guess.
No wonder you're always horsing around, huh?
Huh?
You're always horsing around.
No, that's why I always run away very fast.
Horse lah.
Yes. Guess my age.
32 this year.
Oh, yo, really? It works way. Hey, it works way. No joke.
So that, no?
Okay. Oh, because Joshua is also a horse lah.
I'm a snake.
Huh?
I'm older than you by 1 year.
Oh, you're older than me. Okay, awesome. Alright.
So that, Ganesh.
Rapidly moving on. Let's go to our third image. Odd one out. We have total of 4, so this is the third one. Ta-da! Yes. Yes. These are quite obvious lah, the answer, right? The odd one out. But yeah, what do you think? I need to get a worship band for the last picture.
Very nice. Yeah,
It's not.
Yeah. Hey, a lot of people, in churches in Taiwan and in Hong Kong and all that, right? First day of Chinese New Year, they go to church one. Even in my hometown, Tangka, the church service is on one. First day of Chinese New Year is like so people actually go.
Same in Klang also. My family who are Christians, they go to church on the first day of Chinese New Year. It's a thing.
Regardless whether it's a Sunday or not, there will be a service for Chinese New Year.
Yes.
It's like a celebration to a new year kind of a thing,
Yeah,
right?
all relevant, no?
Yeah.
No, but I
Correct.
attended. So we spoke about the lunar calendar and all, right? So I think about 4 years ago, about 6 years ago, I was invited by my company to join an event. So the event is called the speaker was there to share about feng shui. So it's this guy called Joey Yap lah, right? So I attended the event, and the event looks like picture number 4 lah. It's in KLCC, it's stadium, it's full house, and it's that many people listening to one guy preach about Chinese zodiac. Wow, the experience is different because I always go church, right? I've never been to the Chinese side of things lah. But it's amazing lah, right? Okay, yes, the odd one out. Joshua, what do you think? It's like you don't even want to answer.
Yeah.
Huh?
The concert that's going on down there.
Yeah, the concert is the odd one out. But what similarity do you see
What's
with the other 3?
Yeah.
So okay, so like there are also like there are many forms of where the origin of the culture comes from and things like that lah. Obviously, I share what I know and all that. So basically, lion dance, it has got to do with a lot. I mean, if you go to different parts of China, they look different. All right. If you go to Tibet, it actually looks like the mastiff dog. The mastiff dog, like a huge dog. Yeah, so it actually looks like that, very ugly. If you actually go to Korea, also it looks like one kind, also very ugly one. And then if you go to like the northern part of China, it has like a swollen kind of a lion head. And then this is a very Cantonese southern China kind of lion. It's widely used in Southeast Asia and all that. Well, it's got a lot to do with the noise, and then the whole dancing and stuff like that, right? It's got to do with basically chasing away evil spirits and bad spirits and stuff like that. So people actually use it for like opening ceremonies for your business, or in the new year you want to wish people well, things like that. So it's got to do like the firecrackers. The firecrackers also is known to also chase away all the sui bad spirits and bad luck. I think while as Christians we generally believe that everything good comes from God and all that, this is just human nature of like, sort of like, hey, okay, I don't want all the bad stuff, I want good stuff, and a very symbolic thing. Like it's pretty much like, to me, how when Moses when they put a red color paint or red color blood over the doorpost, right? So it's actually only the Jews and the Chinese have the culture of putting the red paint over the door, and that's but that basically is to avoid, right, to chase away or to tell the evil spirit like, don't come, the spirit of death, don't come into this house, right? So a lot of significance over there. And then of course the drums and all that is to do with the noise as well. Yeah, so it's the same idea of noise and banging and all the chang to chase away spirit stuff. And of course we celebrate and we practice this culture now for the atmosphere, the vibe, the energy that comes with it. No longer just being superstitious.
Right. Thanks for sharing, Pastor. My interpretation of this, the noise from the Chinese drum is to chase away evil spirit. Then the noise from that church congregation is to invite the Holy Spirit. I saw that. Okay. okay. Last image. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. They both,
mind blown.
they're both tied to spirits. Okay, last picture. Odd one out. Ta-dang! Yes. Actually, I bantai this one. I hope it's like actually odd one out.
Kurma.
Kurma. The Yusuf Tayop. Okay, this one is probably going to happen the next 2 months. Yusuf Tayop.
Yeah. I also use it for Christmas for sticky date pudding.
Yeah. Do you know the significance of the kurma? Do you happen to know?
I don't.
Okay.
It's to do with Arab lah. Basically, our Malaysians have to be associated with the Arabs a lot.
And kurma is their national fruit lah, I think.
Are you sure?
No, actually, the kurma is mainly used for buka puasa. On Hari Raya, you don't eat kurma anymore. So the dates have a very high content of sugar. So when you buka puasa, you're very weak, your body is very weak and all that. So usually that's the first thing you eat before you eat everything else. So it's like give your energy to eat more, to get more energy.
Right. Wow. Hebat lah kau. Malay culture, so you can answer. Okay, I designed this slide to say that it's about giving lah, right? And kurma is also, I think we give a lot during the puasa time. And of course, kurma is the odd one out because it's celebrated by a different group of people, but they're all in nature of giving lah. So what do you have to say about this culture of giving within Chinese New Year, like giving the Angpao, the hamper? Giving hamper, now I also need to think because now I got mother-in-law. Probably have to give like those bird nests and the chicken essence and stuff, right? So what does all that symbolize?
Okay, so basically like Angpao, right? It used to be called, it's called Ya Sui Qian. Basically, it is actually, people used to give coins underneath the pillow of the child. So it's not so much of a first day thing, it's a New Year Eve thing where they put the money underneath the pillow. People were really poor and they wanted to they wanted to like bless their children and say, you know, let's hope for a better year ahead. You know, of course, all of us go through, you know, the New Year resolution and stuff like that. Right? So it was a form of a blessing, and so this is also where people, we hope people get it right, and rather than the idea. Angpao is a very symbolic thing. It's not so much about to show off your wealth by giving big amount of money, or you know, or because some people spoil market and stuff like that, right? So it becomes it becomes from something that's really actually very good, it becomes something that's very complicated because people get offended and people get, you know, all kind of things, right? But in essence, it's actually a blessing. You just want to, like, you know, wish somebody, you know, a good year, you know, a blessing, and to give you something lah. And so whatever the amount it may that people give, is actually just wishing you good wishes lah. Yeah. Goal, you know, goal is not something that we all like give during Chinese New Year to everybody, but we would, I mean, it's like something that if you would, it's like a form of currency lah, I would say, you know, because then you don't have like notes of paper and all that, right? So people give gold and stuff like that, right? Because gold also, it's like wedding like that lah, you know, it's like wedding, like why people insist on still giving gold. It's like, the idea is very simple. You can, if I give you a vacuum cleaner, the vacuum cleaner may spoil and there's no value. But if I give you gold during your hard times, you can take my gold, you can take the gift that I gave you, you can take the gold and you can go and pound it, and then you can get money, you know, to get through the hard times. So it's also a symbolism of your family being with you through the hardship lah, you know. That's especially for wedding lah. But in a Chinese New Year setting, usually we give it to our elderly lah, our elders lah. Like, you know, we had a good year. There was a, you know, and we just want to love on you. We just want to be filial to you, and so yeah, here ama or your mom, this is something, a token of our love. Yeah, and of course the whole hamper idea. I actually find hampers a very lazy idea of this practice. I actually don't really buy hampers. I will buy. So it's got to do with how China is such a huge country, right? A lot of people travel from one place to another place in China to work, right? And also like for my family, we are from Malacca, but for many years we were in Johor, and then for many years we were in KL now. The idea of all this so-called hamper and food or whatever it is, it's also good wishes. Like you buy bird's nest, you buy chicken essence, and all this something is for good health, right? But and then if you buy abalone, for example, abalone, if you notice why we are so obsessed with abalone, people pay so much money for the texture, it's actually because it looks like a golden, how you call it, a goblet?
The ingot.
Ingot. So yeah, so it's like a Angpao, we call it. So that's why people like always want to eat the abalone. It's like you eat makan the gold like that lah. But you know, in olden times, people would bring back chicken, would bring back rice, would bring back you know, things for the family because they would have worked in the city or whatever. But then they would bawa balik kampung. These things to really bless, and in Chinese we call it 办年货lah. 办年货 is to essentials to celebrate New Year, you know. In this year, nowadays people make it easy. It's in a form of a hamper lah, and then everything is there lah. Yeah.
Right. Wow.
Ganesh, you also know about ingot, huh? Wow.
Wait, I'm half Chinese, Pastor.
Okay.
The money part of things I sure know one. But the other half is keeping me poor, Pastor.
Yes. Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. No, you go.
Yeah, so thanks for sharing, Joshua. I think we really learned a lot in terms of culture and things we do during Chinese New Year. Some of these things I've been doing for many years, but I don't really know why I'm doing, because everyone does it, right? Like okay lah, we join the vibe lah. Cool. Yes, for those of you tuning in, remember that you can ask your questions as well. Anything to do with Chinese New Year or some significant stuff that you need to do with your family or that you want to know why. maybe we can explain it to you, or Joshua can attempt to explain it to you, and then maybe by understanding the why, you find more meaning into doing it, or perhaps find no meaning in doing it. So that's totally up to you. But you can reach out to us through Slido, on the QR code, or on YouTube, on Discord. Just let us know, and we will help you ask the question. All right. For now, we have prepared some questions. So Joshua, maybe I'll ask the first question. How do we choose which traditions to practice, considering we are Christians, right? Because there are some traditions that maybe earlier you've pointed out, which may be tied into religious meaning, while some traditions may be cultural and safe to practice. How do we distinguish them? Do you have any like examples to give of what we can do and what we can't do, like some of those popular ones that we always do during Chinese New Year? Yeah.
Okay, so it really depends on where you grow up, and then you will be able to be exposed to how much kind of thing. Like for example, they wait. My relatives, they will wait until 12 midnight on New Year's Eve after dinner, right? The next thing to do is prepare the altar already to welcome the God of prosperity, lah. So that one is clearly outright a religious thing, lah. Yeah, you don't need to ask yourself like 2 times or 3 times, is that religious? And that's religious in essence. And so don't participate in anything that's got to do with idol worship or altar and stuff like that, lah. Noon, New Year's Eve noon, your relatives will probably be there will definitely be an altar, not in front of the gods, but in front of the ancestors. In front of the ancestors, if they worship their ancestors, there will be that is their reunion dinner, lah. And Chinese has got this obsession with the noon. Yeah, noon, 12 o'clock is very like everything is noon, lah. Some people get married like noon and so weird numbers. But so even that's also religious. Yeah, and then of course if you're Hokkien, on the 8th day there will be the Pai Ti Gong kind of celebration, whereby that one is that's an interesting celebration actually to me. If I ever have a chance, I want to explore more, because there's a worship unto a god of the universe. This god has no name, and this god is just God. And in Mandarin, in Hokkien, we actually say Ti Gong. Ti Gong means Heavenly Father. And so that one's also religious, lah. But it's a very Hokkien thing. Other clans don't do it. But yeah, and then of course if of course there are some other religious things like going to the temple on the first day, and then they will burn the fu, the paper, and then drink it up. Those are all religious, lah. So that one you really should know, lah. Of course, really, whenever you're not sure, you can always ask the leaders and pastors, or your parents as well. But more importantly, don't just follow, lah. You know what exactly you're doing, lah. But not everything is religious also, lah. So don't have to, make things difficult for everybody.
Okay, sounds good. So Kanesh, I guess what we can learn so far is that there are clearly practices which are more religious in nature, or like only has religious significance. And if it's not something that, I guess, lines up with what the Bible says, like for example, God clearly says in the Bible that there's only one God, lah. So if there's any practice that points to any other fact, right, there's more than one God, then I think quite clearly we don't, lah. But at the same time, I think we also can learn that not everything is religious. So we don't have to make everything a superstition, not everything a religion, and then become weird about it, start a fight where there isn't a fight to start, things like that, lah. Right? But I guess we can flow into the next question where, sometimes in a family, it may not necessarily be the entire family are Christians. Yeah. So maybe the son or the children is Christian, but the parents are not, or maybe the family is Christian, but then the relatives are not. But then during Chinese New Year and other gatherings, it can be birthday, it can be funeral, it can be whatever, So when you gather, then there are other people there. Sometimes there may be pressure from be a non-Christian parent to a Christian child or non-Christian relative to a Christian family to do certain practices, especially when it's clearly a worship practice. Maybe like the Chinese New Year, so hey, everybody must pray to the God of whatever, and maybe there's an expectation. Do you have any experience in things like that, and how do you advise, because we are ex-teens chat, right? So many teens may be Christians but their parents are not, and then when it comes to festivities or certain practices, and it's clearly a worship act, how do you advise, first of all, do you have any experience like that? And then secondly, how do you advise teens who may be going through that kind of pressure? How should they handle it?
Yeah. So while Pastor, you've asked this question, actually we also received a question in Slido, very, very similar to what you've asked. But I wanted to put a bit more, because this teen has a form of threat, right? What if my parents force me to do ancestral worship and threaten to cut ties or disown me if I don't? So I guess it's a question of how do we respond to these kind of things, if you have anything to share.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe I'll share with, I'll just respond a little bit to what Pastor just asked me. I personally, like I mentioned very much earlier, why I'm passionate about this is actually, one of the reasons is, it's always been my heart desire to let my relatives come to know Christ, right? And that being one of the reasons as to like, I'm still super China, doesn't mean I no longer forgot I didn't forget my roots to begin with. That's one thought. But more than anything, a lot of times there's a lot of insecurity. All right, ancestor worship in alone, I believe it's birth out of a form of insecurity. It's like, when I die, who's going to take care of me? Anybody going to give me food? Going to burn money for me? Where I go after that, where's my source of income and stuff like that, right? So people, it's always birth out of that insecurity because they are uncertain. I think a lot of people who don't have a faith, they're always uncertain. Out of respect and love for our elderly and our grandparents and all that, it actually has become right. It's become and it sort of like becomes a worship kind of thing, lah. The whole ancestor part of it, lah. A lot of times parents will tell you like, it's harmless, what. I remember when my grandparents wanted my aunt to bow 3 times to the ancestral plaque, during her wedding, and it was really a difficult situation. Of course, that's why some of us, if we can get married in a hotel, we get married in a hotel, we siam from that kind of a situation. But other than that, they will always tell you like, it's just your ancestors, showing honor to them and things like that. Well, for us, we don't bow to anything besides God, lah. So that's very clear, lah. All right. But more than not bowing to any other God and making a stand, I also believe in the consistency of being a blessing and you actually show your relatives and your parents how much you really love them. Because I think that's really important, because there's insecurity, man. The only way to ease the insecurity is to show that you really love them, lah. I remember when my grandfather passed away, I don't think I had a single relative who ever dared to question my love for him because I didn't hold joysticks. Because they all knew I loved my grandfather a lot, and so that was for me one of the most. So that's why we on a normal day express your love and normally be a good kid, love on your parents, and then when it comes to such occasions, people don't guilt trip you. You don't hold your stick, or you don't love, because they cannot say that. Also, it's not consistent as to how things have been in the first place. So it's always been. I don't hold joysticks. I don't hold joysticks or worship the ancestors. So what I actually have in my grandmother's house is a place specially. Is my grandfather's portrait. His photo. And every time I go back, whether it's Chinese New Year or anything, I'll bring fresh flowers. I always bring fresh flowers, and I will put it up and sometimes I intentionally buy the biggest bunch of flowers there, only because that because my grandmother's alive, ma. And after a couple of times, she took notice and she told my Christian aunts, like, yeah, like that was something that really touched her, like, we didn't forget my grandfather, but we don't worship the whole black thing or put joss sticks on it. We never forgot them, so we never forgot him. So I always come back with flowers, and that to my grandmother was very impactful, lah. Yeah.
Okay. You got your answer, Ganesh?
Yeah, but that's very good. Like, actually, I can really relate to what you shared. Because I think so this story is more for my dad lah, but I can testify because one of my uncle passed away some time ago, and my dad had to attend. They were doing this funeral thing, right? And part of that funeral process is to walk around and pray and something like that, which my dad didn't want to participate because he wanted to honor my mom, who is firm Christian now. So he didn't want to like make it look awkward because my mom didn't believe in all that. But it's very nice to see that they didn't go against him because they knew how much he had cared for that family as well. So you can't really say like, oh, you're trying to betray the family and all that. You can't say that. And okay, I really relate to what you shared. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so back to all of you watching. Remember to honor your parents because there's always significance in that. And it will all link up together one day in the grand scheme of things, right? Yes, so next question, Joshua. Okay, let me see if there's any other question in Slido. Oh, there is.
Yes, there's one.
Is it okay? So just now we're talking about joystick, right? Why am I saying joystick?
Joystick. Joystick is a game, lah, bro.
Joystick. Okay, joystick. All right.
Yeah.
Is it okay to hold joystick and pray without meaning it? Sometimes you will do it to fake it, right? Like, okay lah, just to follow what my mom said. I do, but I don't mean it, right? Is it okay to do that? Or is it okay to eat prayer food? Because, so the word is this, because if I don't do all this, it will look as though I'm disrespectful to my family. Any thoughts on that?
Well, okay, let's address the whole joystick thing first. The joysticks basically is an instrument of worship. All right, it is used for the purpose of idol worship or ancestor worship. My take is avoid it at all costs. I mean, not at all costs, but rather you can silent. They're gonna worship at a certain time, wake up later. If they're going to bye now, then you faster go to sleep, that kind of thing. Just scam lah, basically. But of course, more than that, also is you trying to make a stand. I don't think there's such a thing as like, carrying a cross is part of the deal. So holding your joysticks and not meaning it doesn't really. It's like saying saying I love Jesus, but when somebody put a gun in your head and then you go like, yeah, I love Jesus. I don't. You say I'm not a Christian, but actually I'm a Christian. The kind of thing it doesn't jive lah. So it's a you just have to make a stand in terms of that. But of course, and of course I would say again, in every situation it may be different, but it doesn't change the fact that the joystick is an instrument of worship lah. Yeah. So you have to discern according to the situation. I would definitely say that. Sekali one of your team don't come back alive. Responsible. And another thing, something else about all the idol worship food, right? Okay, this one it's I think there are different people have got different thoughts about it. One of it is this. One of it is like, I think it says don't stumble when you take idol, when you take food that's been worshipped to idol. You don't want to stumble at other believers or other people in a sense. So honestly, in other words, if you're eating it and you're not stumbling somebody else, sort of. if you ask me personally, I will tell you that I'm more of like it never bothered me in that sense because I always believe greater is he who is in me than he who's in the world. The food was just placed in front of something, but not whatever. Whether or not I won't purposely go and eat it. Over the years, my Christian population in my family grew bigger and bigger and bigger. We have different sets of food to eat, and that's honestly that okay. So that's the deal. The deal is when in my family I cook dinner, my other relatives cook lunch because it involves preparation for the idols, for the ancestors. Okay, anyway, I don't think food is offered to the idols on Chinese New Year Eve. Okay, it's always offered to your ancestors. Yeah, it's not your Guan Yin Ma or anything, right? Because Guan Yin Ma don't eat chicken or don't eat pork, right? Yeah. So yeah.
Right.
That's answered lah. So yeah. So if you're not stumbling anybody else, yeah.
I think for me, right, is there needs to practice wisdom lah, because you are at the end of the day a teenager, right? Sometimes there is real pressure, but what I meant by practice wisdom is pray and have that conversation up front. Means you don't wait until you need to do the joystick thing and then you think about all this. Should I do? Shouldn't I do? But have that conversation up front. Tell your mom, hey, now, have that conversation. Hear from her and let her hear from you and your stand, and then slowly sip into the Chinese New Year moment. I think that really helped. If like, yeah.
I also think there's a lot of other things to eat, right? So if you really have a problem with eating it, or like it's gonna be a problem for you, just like eat other things, like eat something that is not being offered, it's a price to pay, You carry the cross by not eating the food that is been offered to the idol. Then you don't have roast pork for that meal, but at night you got roast pork some more. So why you what's so difficult, because really, if you see the food that's offered to the idols, right, they are all blanched meat. Okay, they are not tasty food. They are mostly blanched meat that is being used for idol worshipment. So nobody likes to eat blanched food anyway. But so don't eat those things, just eat other things. Yeah. And if you really don't want to make a scene, just be part of it and eat other things. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Other cultures got things like that, Ganesh?
We got joystick lah. That one sure
don't offer food, is it?
Food also got lah. We offer got.
Coconut.
I remember Deepavali we got offer lah. Like just one small portion at the side, and then got some God image. But we don't eat it after. I think, I don't know. Maybe someone did lah, but not me.
Yeah, depends how long you put it down, right? If it's curry, how you eat.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions? Let's see. So far, that's about it.
So far, no. But I think we although it's just few questions, but we covered quite a good range of, or rather enough to give people principles to hold on to, and think about it, pray about it, and have that wisdom to speak to your parents and your family about it. It's very exciting to be a Christian, especially during these kind of times where you get the opportunity to share about your faith. And whenever you do that, right, it actually shows a lot of maturity, I feel, because you're at a point where you are deciding what you really want in your life. And a lot of parents actually honors that. They love it when you do it. But you need to be, you need to practice wisdom when you communicate it with your parents, right? You don't like, I tell you I'm a Christian now. You cannot ask me to do ABCDE. Then like creating a fight. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all from me, But Pastor, any final thoughts? Any last word? You are a pastor, and I know a lot of your teens might go through this. So, yeah.
Well, I think what we learned today is that we shouldn't be too quick to judge, because there's always the story behind the story, right? Whatever it is, not just about Chinese tradition or other whatever tradition, even like when it comes to human beings, right? Sometimes you see someone behave a certain way. We also shouldn't just judge from what it looks like on the outside, right? always seek to understand.
Yeah.
So if we apply that, we won't be so stressed out. We won't jump to conclusion. We won't be so hateful. We won't be so, I guess, judgy. I think it's just a good principle. And I think that tonight the whole session is about understanding where things come from, understanding why certain practices are practiced. And I can easily, we don't have the time for this, but we can easily point to so many different Christian traditions that we practice in church that, you know what, you won't understand why. So it looks to us like some kind of ritual. It looks to us like some kind of like meaningless practice. But if we understand the significance, right, and the history of where it came from, right, maybe we'll have a fresh meaning to doing it, and of course, if you come from a church where there isn't many traditional practices, then it may not be so significant. But I've been to churches where very traditional. Like some churches have liturgy, for example, like the whole service is written out. The pastor will say something, then you will say something. And for those of us who don't understand, like, wow, it feels so, I guess some people say, oh, it's so fake, it's so mechanical, but if you understand where it came from, maybe we'll appreciate a little bit more. Again, we don't have the time to go into it, why and all that, but maybe one day Ganesh, one day we'll talk about Christian traditions. Some churches still use incense
Palm Sunday, yes.
Palm Sunday, what is the palm all about? What if my country got no palm? Then how? So, but I mean, the main point is like tradition. Not all traditions are outdated or irrelevant or bad. I think we need to take time to understand, and then we will understand the richness of it, and then we can still, pick and choose. Because at the end of the day, the Bible is the final authority. If something doesn't line up with the Bible, no matter how good it is, also it's not from the Bible, and we have no pressure, obligation, or any reason to follow it. But if somehow lines up with the Bible, then no matter how boring or how irrelevant it may look like, but if it's in the Bible, we do it. So I mean, I guess that's my closing for today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Thanks for sharing, Pastor. Okay, I think that's all we have for X-Teens Chat this week. Remember to follow us on all social platforms. We are on Instagram, we are on Twitter, we are on Facebook. We are also on Discord. But if you would like to be part of our Discord community, you probably have to DM us on Instagram, and then we will get you involved. All right. If you are into Chinese New Year mood and you're around Klang Valley, do drop by. We are meeting this Saturday at 3:00 in Summit, USJ. We celebrate together, right? And X-Teens Chat will be back next month, sometime in February. So if you follow our socials, you'll get a notification on that. Okay. So thanks again to Joshua for being part of our panel today, and all of you who are blessed by Joshua being here. Do type out your message on the comment section on YouTube or on Discord. That'd be really nice. Okay, that's all from us. I'll see you guys next month. Bye bye.